I was invited to give a short introduction of our reasons behind why we would want to become the pilot project in such a change in museum administration. So I will also make it as a rather free statement of this pilot project, and Mr. Zariņš already said all the positive and negative things, and basically tapped on each of the issues that we are facing and the reasons why we want to make this reform. So firstly, just for those about that, here are some people who haven't been in Rundāle palaces. I noticed almost haven't been there. So just to point out where it is. Is it work? Does it work? Okay, let's do it this way. So just to point out where it is located. Yeah, it is here. So Rundāle Palace Museum is Ducal Palace, the only one that is still preserved here in Latvian territory. It was built on the border between former Duchy of Courland and Zeme-Galija and Lithuania, in close vicinity to the town Bauska and also to the capital Mītava. They were joined by the river. So nowadays the southern border hasn't changed a lot. We are still on the border with Lithuania. We are relatively close to the capital, and also we are on the main tourism route through the Baltic countries. So every tour bus, or almost every tour bus that comes in from Lithuania, stops in Rundāle, then goes to Riga, and then further to Turaida Museum reservoir. So, and vice versa also, coming from Estonia, they are going through Rundāle. That means that our museum is highly seasonal. So during the summer period we have very many visitors. The high peak is July and August, with many tours coming in, and in yearly we have something about 260,000 visitors in Rundāle Palace. And during the winter period, which is low season, Palace may be also completely empty for days. How does it look like? It consists of the property that is placed on 85 hectares of land. There are many buildings. This is the palace itself, and the stable buildings in front of it, and also the territory around is very significant and historically important, because there is this regular French garden and also the forest garden behind it. And basically when people are coming to Rundāle Palace, they experiencing the atmosphere itself for being there. So this is not just visiting the palace itself and going inside the interiors and seeing the apartments of Duke, but also just to being able to be there, to have this feeling of the 18th century surroundings. And this is very important, and that is why people are coming there often. And of course we have an enormous rose garden with more than 2,300 roses. That is main attraction during the summer period. Because we are located on the border with Lithuania and in the countryside, there is also an issue of accessibility. Though touring groups can come with buses there quite easily, those who are like individual travelers either have to have a car to come there, or they have to take public transportation, and then it is 2 buses, and it is rather tricky to figure out how the buses are connected. And so the individual visitors, we have significantly less than those guided tours. There were clearly stated main ideals for the Rundāle Palace Museum, how it should be developed. So the palace itself was funded in 1736 when the first stone was laid and the palace, according to Francesco Rastrelli, plan was built. And then already in 1964 the first museum unit was established here in Rundāle Palace as a branch from Bauska Museum. And you can see how the territory looked at that time, and during more than 40 years, 45 years, the Rundāle Palace has returned to its initial landscape, so to say. So with every year we have more and more territory to take care of, and we require more and more people and staff to do the job. And we are constantly growing, and that's not the end here. We are planting also, we are planting also apple gardens here in this part and also in the other part. And there are, as one of the main reasons for the development of museum was to create this 18th century environment and feeling and the garden culture. So we also need to develop the greenhouses that formerly were located here in these areas, and we need them also for the functional reasons. So there are many things that needs to be developed in order to be sustainable for the Rundāle Palace Museum. And as Mr. Zariņš said, that Rundāle is a state museum owned by the state, and we are a government administrative institution. We are not very flexible with our budget because by the end of the year we have to reach this point zero and start every year anew. But we have some money that is grant from the budget, but it constitutes only 45% of the whole sum that is required for the museum. So in 2017 our revenue was 55%, but last year the revenue increased up to 64%. So in those terms the money that is issued by the government is only 36% for Rundāle Palace Museum. So in the very beginning of the year we are already taking over all that money, because in the beginning of the year we do not have incomes from the visitors. And since we can't make any capital investments and savings for future, it is very hard for us to plan this development and growth of the museum in the sense of the future. Also, the salary policy that was mentioned earlier, this is also quite an issue that is becoming more and more important in Rundāle Palace, because there is happening generational change at the moment. Those specialists who worked there for many years and now have reached their retirement age, so to say. And in many departments at the museum, the generational change is happening, and we can't invite young people to come and work in Rundāle if we can't compete with the salary. We need professionals, for example, in the park and in garden department, and we can't compete with salary-wise with private sector. There is no way that we can do that, but we are still trying. So this is a huge issue for us. And of course this price list, which takes the approval up to half year if we want to introduce new services of the museum, then that is quite a long time to wait for the profits. So these are the main issues why we wanted to introduce change, but also since the property is very big and the main attraction is building itself and the territory itself, we are also taking very good care of maintaining it and restoring and conserving it. And that has been done for many years, and the Rundāle Palace is piloting, or not piloting, but the prime example of the good restoration practice, and we still want to continue to do that. And in order to do that, it is very important that we own our buildings, that we don't have to be subjected to other external governor. So we would be really interested in owning our holdings and also the territory that is around. So this, in short, is the main reasons why we are keen to have this reform, and very looking forward to 2020 when it can happen. Thank you.
You're not playing the clip. You're not playing. It's playing.
It is
playing. Okay. Now, being a pilot, really, do you have a role model?
Well, not as such. We are cooperating with the Ministry of Culture in developing this system, and we are, to be honest, we are not that much involved, or haven't been that closely involved in the process up until now. Yeah. Initially, we thought that it might be this state capital foundation, but that didn't work, and now we are just waiting on the results that will provide this research, and then we are going to engage more closely in the process.
Yeah, that's more for the legal status. What I rather mean is, do you have somebody in mind that you wish to be just as good in public quality and services? Or do you see somebody that you could emulate a bit? I mean, also from the landscape of the palaces and gardens elsewhere in Europe.
Well, there could be many good examples. I don't know, Vilanovic Palace in Warsaw, Versailles.
Yeah, and they are run as a foundations, I guess, with a huge support of the aristocracy where it is present, right? I see, right. Any question in there in the room? Because these numbers are absolutely astonishing. When you think of that the grant in aid for this museum was just about 36% last year, and the rest you had to earn yourself. It's by far the most financially successful museum. Although we not speak of earning money in museums, we are supposed to be not for profit, but we're just in this situation where we have to.
Well, the revenue comes not just from the tickets or renting rooms or renting the museum, but it also comes from different projects or the joint projects that we are involved, like this creating the apple tree garden. That constitutes more than 100 euros, but look, still, this is the money.
Yeah, I understand you could go even further earning your own money, but I just somehow disagree that your granting aid should be decreased because you earn more. Why should they get less money because they're earning more? Why there's no a fixed adjustable, of course, every year to the rates of the inflation money that the museum gets? Why is this that if they earn more, they're punished for that?
Well, I'll be frank. So, state never has enough money, so that's a given, and the culture especially so. The cultural is normally the last in line when it comes to budget requests. So, although the museum law provides a list of the functions that the state is financing, and actually according to the law on museums, the museum's self-income is supposed to be used only for development of museum, whatever it means. So it's not supposed to be, you're not supposed to pay wages using this, which happens because state uses that the museum, if the museum is financially successful, well, frankly, we are happy that we have a long list of the needs. So okay, you're earning a lot, so sorry, so we will you're successful, we will, the budget stays the same. And the crazy thing, which actually I would like to mention, is that from the point of view of Ministry of Finance, state funding and self-earned money is in the same box of money. So you say, so we actually expect, and actually if Rundāle earns more, normally it's not museum's money, you're supposed to give it back to the state budget.
Under this regulation, but once you have foundation, I think there's a necessity that you would get a fixed, of course,
that's
changing the rate of inflation.
And that's the other part of the
from
problem
state.
is that so far we don't have any fixed, like we have for theaters.
Yes.
We have formula, how we fund,
A formula.
for theaters. Formula doesn't exist for museums so far, so it's always been, if you are coming to the ministry, you're asking, well, we need more, then we are trying to find some wiggle room that's really according to the needs of the museum.
Well,
So
work on the formula now. Now your homework is to create that formula which suits you. I guess that's the lesson you can learn from.
That's the tricky part, because museums come in all sizes, in all shapes, and with all kinds
Sure,
of budgets.
but this is
that's something we started to discuss, but that's something for the
Yes.
future. We will
But
also
also I
like
would
to
say
have more
that
clarity.
there are 3 museums that are quite exceptional in the context of the country. This is Rundāle Palace Museum, Turēt Museum, and also Open Air Museum. So probably they need like also as a project a different approach, or maybe even their own like written down law for the museum and as a foundation.
Yeah.
And
Well, look, you will be setting the scene because you are a pilot, right? And by you, the rest will be judged. So the more successful you are in having your say in how you wish to be governed, the better. And I think everyone here just would support you in that, whatever way it takes. Right. So here we are. I think we move further with accomplished pilot, which is now already established foundation, and that's our neighboring Estonia. Thank you for Laura.